This is episode 5 of the Learn Welsh Fast podcast. So that's lesson 1.4 on the website, learnwelshfast.com. Today's lesson is Darllen, which is reading. Darllen, reading. So part of your immersion program should be reading. I'm not expecting you to read a novel or anything, but just start glancing at the headlines on two of the main news sources. So if we think about the word Cymru, we know it means Wales now, and if you'd never heard the word spoken at all and you were just looking at it, reading it, you might think C-Y-M-R-U, C-Y-M-R-U, Cymru, or Cymru. That's what you would probably go with. And if you'd never seen Cymru written down, you just heard someone saying it, you'd probably think that it was spelled Cymru, so C-U-M-R-I. So it's good to kind of know what the words look like and what they sound like, so you can start working out the phonetics and the how things are pronounced. We're going to be going. You get all dealt with in the alphabet lessons that are coming up, but right now we're still covering emotions. So, but we want to say Welsh is easier than English from some points of view. It's not easy in the fact that when you speak English and you're going to learn Welsh, it's hard because it's completely different. But if you were to learn the two languages side by side from an outside point of view, Welsh would probably be easier because it has about 6 irregular verbs. If you didn't look at what that meant, is remember we said that the word walk can just be add ed on the end and it gets put in the past tense, so it's walked. Well, you can do that with most verbs in English, but there's certain ones you can't do it with. You can't do it with do. Doing something in the past, you don't doed it with the ed on the end, you did it. So there's verbs like that, and they're called irregular verbs, and there's do and have and make and a few others, and to be, and they're all different, so they're called irregular verbs. But in English, there's about 300 of them. So for people learning as a foreign language point of view, it's quite hard. There's a lot to learn, but in Welsh there's about 6. So there are a few more than 6, but there's 6 in general common use. There are some that fell out of favour, and there are some that have some slight differences but aren't fully irregular. But let's just say they're about 6. So it's easier from that point of view. Also, in Welsh, there are no 2 words, as far as I know, that are spelt the same but have different pronunciations depending on the way they're being used. So in English, the word live can be I live here, and it can be I like live music, and it looks exactly the same, but it's 2 different pronunciations. I don't think that happens in Welsh very much, if at all, is that what I'm saying. So also in Welsh, no consonants really have 2 sounds. There is a few exceptions with S, because there's loan words such as zoo, and down South Wales they would pronounce that as zoo. So the Z sound for the S. And there's also the word for shop. The sh sound in shop is a consonant in its own right, using the letter S with the letter I. So that breaks the rules, but generally all the consonants only have 1 sound. But in English, we have there's other ways of the T is different in like navigation. We have advice and advise. So it's not a good example, but the letter C can be used as lice and advise. So it has the S sound and the C sound. You don't get that in Welsh so much, apart from those rule breakers that are kind of adapting Welsh to accommodate English loanwords. Welsh is pretty much phonetic, but each vowel has a long and short sound, but it isn't directly phonetic. But you can have a good attempt at it. Where should I go and learn words by reading. Okay, anywhere you can really. So dictionaries, books, anywhere you see it, pamphlets, pick it up, websites. You just want to be looking at Welsh as much as you can as part of your immersion program. And this is only going to learn Welsh fast as well. So looking at the headlines is the main example that I use through the lessons here, and that's what I do, and I've been doing for a while. And you learn lots. So if you go to Google and you Google the words Google in Welsh, you'll come up with a Google website that has CY at the end, and that's blah 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 / www.google.com / HL equals CY. So the language equals CY Cymru. So at the end there, and that's on the website. So for you to use, or you can just do what I said, Google in Welsh. So you start Googling Welsh then. So you can Google words that you know, and you can see how they're used in context in other web pages. It's one way of reading more words. Another way is to just put the word newyddion or news, and it will bring back Welsh news for you there. So newyddion is the Welsh word for news. It's the plural of new, newydd, newyddion. NEWYDDION, newyddion. That's the Welsh word for news. So if you go on to the first one, S4C, there's different sections on that website, and I'll just go through what's on them. Newyddion is news, teyrngedau is tributes, chwaraeon, which is sports, we've got dysgu Cymraeg, which is learning Welsh or learn Welsh, we've got trosedd, which is crime, celfyddydau, arts, gwleidyddiaeth, politics, addysg, education, amaeth ac amgylchedd, agriculture and environment, and we got iechyd, which is health. So they're the different categories that they put the articles there on the Welsh. So that they're listed on the webpage as well. That's lesson 1.4 reading. And we've got new words that you're introduced to there, and you start seeing that I'm a coder, so I've got advantages here where I can sort of start representing the word information to you in different ways, but I've got to fill up a database, and with this 10 new words a day and things like that, I'm putting more and more words into the database, and we can use them in different apps that I'm developing, in different games and different ways of learning. But at the moment you can do things like, go and look at all the information for that word like you would with a dictionary. You can listen to the pronunciation, you got the IPA, you got examples and stuff. If you click on any of the words in the daily quiz, it'll go off to individual word pages for words, and you'll get a lot more information there as well. So there's little quizzes and related media videos on some of them. I'm filling it in every day. There's more and more information's going on there. There's hundreds of pages. So have a look. And so newyddion is the plural of news. ION is a common plural ending in Welsh. Chaneli is a word that we get introduced to there. That's channels. It's the plural of channel. That's attempting to use a loan word but spell it out with Welsh letters, and instead of doing the ch sound that's in English, they use the SI, the sh sound that's used in shop that we mentioned before. So we go with channel. In English, you only have a handful of plural endings like S on pans, ES on boxes, so IES on babies. So that's changed completely from a baby with a Y to babies, IES, and so on. But there's not many. In Welsh, there's quite a few more, but you can guess at some now and again when you get used to the rules. There are some loose rules, but there's no solid kind of uniform way of doing the plural endings. So you've got to learn them as you learn new words. That's the best way to do them, and practice them. So, we think we're out of time. Right, okay. See you soon.